Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome everyone to the sixth. We have a little chatter out in the audience this morning. I did bang the gavel. And this is the sixth meeting of the Public Utility Commission for calendar year 2015, and ask that you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first matter on this morning's agenda is the approval of the minutes of the February 26th meeting. And it's a pleasure to recognize Commissioner Cawley as editor of the minutes. Commissioner Cawley.
Thank you and good morning, everyone. I have reviewed the minutes of the February 26th public meeting and move that they be adopted as submitted.
Second. Any discussion? Any objections? Hearing none, the minutes are approved here this morning. And it's a pleasure to welcome to the podium to commence with our brief public meeting agenda here this morning, Ms. Cheryl Walker-Davis. Good morning, Cheryl.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. That's the second invitation to make the meeting brief. So, may it please this honorable commission, on behalf of your various offices and bureaus, we present for your consideration and disposition the following agenda items. Commencing this morning with matters on behalf of the Bureau of Consumer Services, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the Bureau's recommendation to adopt the proposed tentative order pertaining to Columbia Gas of Pennsylvania, Inc.'s Universal Service and Energy Conservation Plan for 2015 to 2018.
So moved. Second. Any discussion? Any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously.
On behalf of the Office of Competitive Market Oversight, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the proposed rulemaking order with regard to customer information disclosure requirements.
So moved. Second. Any discussion? Any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously.
On behalf of the Office of Special Assistance in omnibus fashion, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the recommendations commencing with the recommendation in the proceeding involving the application of Little Driver Chauffeur Services, LLC, TA Advantage Chauffeur Services at the top of page 3, continuing with the remaining item on page 3. All items are on page 4, and the first item, Two Young Studs Moving, LLC's application at the top of page 5.
So moved. Second. Any discussion? Any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously.
It was the previous name, Mr. Chairman, that gave me some pause. But continuing with the presentation of agenda items, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the interconnection agreement with regard to Frontier Communications Commonwealth Telephone Company, LLC, and Teleport Communications America, LLC, as well as the interconnection agreement with regard to Frontier Communications of Breezewood, Canton, Lakewood, Oswego River, and Pennsylvania, LLC, and CenturyLink Communications, noting the statements of Commissioner Brown with regard to both of those proceedings.
So moved. Second. I'd like to recognize Commissioner Brown for purposes of her statement here this morning. Commissioner Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On these two matters, I will be recusing myself from voting because my brother is employed by Frontier Communications.
So noted here this morning. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll note the vote here this morning. It's a 4-0 vote, noting Commissioner Brown's recusal.
Continuing with the agenda items appearing on page 6, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the final two remaining items on behalf of the Office of Special Assistance through and including the recommendation in the proceeding pertaining to JMT Property Corp.
So moved. Second. Any discussion? Any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously.
Turning now to matters presented on behalf of the Bureau of Technical Utility Services, it is recommended in omnibus fashion that the Commission adopt the items commencing with the recommendation in the proceeding involving ARM Energy Management, LLC at the top of page 7, and continuing with the items appearing on pages 7 and 8, 9 and 10, and 11 through and including the recommendation involving Aqua Pennsylvania, Inc. Security Certificate.
So moved. Second. Any discussion? Any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously.
On behalf of the Law Bureau, on page 12 of the public meeting agenda, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the proposed tentative order involving the implementation of the Alternative Energy Portfolio Standards Act of 2004.
So moved. Second. Any discussion? Any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously.
And proceeding now to matters presented on behalf of the Office of Administrative Law Judge, it is recommended that the Commission adopt ALJ Pell's initial decision in the proceeding involving Stephen Dentman versus Verizon Pennsylvania, LLC.
So moved. Second. Any discussion? Any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously.
With regard to the complaint proceeding involving Darnell Fassett versus Philadelphia Gas Works, there is the motion of Vice Chairman Coleman as well as the statement of Commissioner Cawley.
I'd like to recognize Vice Chairman Coleman for purposes of his motion here this morning. Vice Chairman Coleman.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd ask that my motion be entered into the record as though I had read it in its entirety. Before the Commission is the initial decision sustaining the above-captioned formal complaint in part filed by Darnell Fassett against Philadelphia Gas Works. In his complaint, Mr. Fassett questions the amount that he was back billed by PGW for unauthorized gas usage at the service location which he owns. The amount of the back bill is approximately $5,500. The complainant also requests a payment arrangement. The decision denies the complaint regarding the dispute of the back billing amount, but sustains the complaint regarding the request for a payment arrangement. I agree with the decision to deny the complaint regarding the back bill amount for unauthorized gas usage. The complainant does not dispute that he is responsible for the unauthorized gas use at the service location. Moreover, PGW's calculation of the back bill was reasonable. I do not agree, however, with the decision to grant a payment arrangement here. I do not believe that a payment arrangement is appropriate when a person requesting the payment arrangement was involved in the theft of utility service while residing at the service location. To grant a payment arrangement here, I believe, would send the wrong message to all of those law-abiding ratepayers that those who willfully misuse service can receive a benefit of a delayed repayment period at no interest to the repayment of the debt arising from the misuse of service. Therefore, I move that the initial decision be adopted in part and modified in part consistent with this motion, and the Office of Special Assistant prepare an opinion order consistent with this motion.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Any discussion? Commissioner Cawley, I'd like to recognize you for purpose of a statement here this morning.
Thank you, Chairman. I ask that my statement also be placed in the record. I'll read just the final paragraph. I wish to emphasize to PGW and to all of our natural gas distribution companies the importance of routinely monitoring their facilities to deter theft of service. If for no other reason than, of course, all the ratepayers who pay for their service must pick up the cost of the gas and the cost of delivering it. Given the duration of the potential theft of service in this case, a matter of years, I strongly encourage PGW to make a presentation to the Commission regarding the internal policy and procedures that it has implemented or will implement to effectively monitor dormant residential, commercial, and industrial accounts for unauthorized service.
Thank you, Commissioner Cawley, and I'd like to take this opportunity to associate myself with your statement and simply add here this morning in terms of addressing this issue once again, why the PUC is adequately equipped to handle this issue versus the Philadelphia Gas Commission that should be looking at these issues. So I commend you here this morning for your statement, and I'm proud to associate myself with it. Are there any objections to the motion here this morning? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously.
It is recommended that the Commission adopt ALJ Cheskis's recommended decision in the proceeding involving CMV Sewage Company, Inc., as well as ALJ Johnson's recommended decision in the People's Natural Gas Company proceeding, noting the statement of Commissioner Whitmer in that proceeding.
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner Whitmer, I'd like to recognize you for purposes of a statement here this morning. Commissioner Whitmer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I would like my statement entered into the record as if I had read it in its entirety. Before the Commission is the settlement to approve People's 5-year pilot program that will be known as the Service Extension Tariff, or SET. The purpose of SET is to reduce the upfront financial barriers faced by potential residential and commercial customers who are interested in receiving natural gas service but would not pursue in the absence of the program. Pennsylvania sits on top of one of the largest natural gas reserves in the world. The ability to economically extract Marcellus shale gas has made Pennsylvania the second largest natural gas producer in the country. As a result, Pennsylvania consumers and businesses should have every reasonable opportunity to take advantage of this efficient and clean-burning natural resource. The SET program, even as modified by the settlement, is designed to do exactly that. set with no limit on the amount of capital to be expended over the next 5 years, is a groundbreaking and progressive attempt by Peoples to significantly increase the availability of natural gas in areas of the Commonwealth that are underserved or unserved by Peoples. Typically, customers wishing to have natural gas service extended to them would have to either pay their share of extension costs through an upfront contribution in aid of construction or pay upfront costs associated with customer-owned service lines. Too often, the existence or combination of the construction and aid of contribution and aid of construction and service line costs are cost prohibitive for homeowners or businesses, sometimes running into the thousands of dollars. In exchange for agreeing to pay a fixed set monthly fee, currently underserved or unserved customers can gain access to Pennsylvania's thriving natural gas market. The pilot program, as described in the settlement, sets appropriate limits on this initiative. I think it's important to note that the settlement requires ongoing annual reporting by Peoples so that we can monitor the success of this endeavor. And while I am pleased to lend my support to this aggressive and innovative effort by Peoples, I am disappointed that the parties did not include Peoples' proposal to offer on-bill house line and appliance financing to further mitigate barriers to taking natural gas service. Although I note that the company specifically reserved its right to file for a financing option in the future, I believe the lack of inclusion of an on-bill financing component is a missed opportunity. As was noted in the October 31st, 2013 On-Bill Financing Working Group report, on-bill programs may be effective in expanding the reach of energy efficiency programs, especially to niche groups of customers such as multifamily housing or municipal entities that are working within fixed budgets. More importantly, on-bill financing of certain appliances could assist in driving uptake within the commercial sector by bridging cost barriers and making deeper retrofit projects more feasible. To that end, I would encourage the company and the statutory advocates to begin addressing any differences so that Peoples can design a program that will be workable in a pilot format going forward. We will never be able to harness the potential of this flexibility if the parties involved abandon their proposals only in the spirit to reach a settlement. Finally, I would like to thank and congratulate all of the parties in the settlement for reaching a resolution of all the other major issues and continue to challenge other natural gas utilities operating in underserved and unserved areas of the Commonwealth to begin thinking creatively on how they too can bring this homegrown fuel to more Pennsylvania businesses and homeowners. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Whitmer. Any further discussion? Any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, that does conclude the presentation of regular agenda items. Turning now to the carrying agenda, it is recommended that the Commission adopt on behalf of the Law Bureau the recommendation to delegate to staff the ability to approve via secretarial letter uncontested electric generation supplier and natural gas supplier license amendments and abandonments.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? Any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. I believe there are no further items to come before the Commission here this morning.
Nothing further, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. On that note, we are adjourned.